Good morning, everyone. This is Wednesday, the 10th of February, and today we are looking at our introductions and conclusions that we're going to use to write our non-chronological reports. So first of all, though, we have got a lovely bit of spelling practice. So remember that OUGH letter string can have so many different sounds. It can make the or sound as in thought or bought. It can make the sound as in rough, tough and enough. It can make the ow sound as in plough and bow. It can make the O sound as in though and although, and the oo sound as in through. Okay, so there's lots of different words on here. Have a go at writing them all down in your best handwriting, please. The more we write out these spellings, the more they are going to go into our memories, okay? So pause the video now and take a couple of minutes to write those spellings down, please. Okay, once you have done that, there's a little bit of freedom in your spelling practice today. So I've given you a couple of options of what you can do to practice your spellings. So I would do each of these for one word, and then once you've done it for one word, move on to another word, okay? So what you could do is take your word for a walk. So people like to draw a little squiggly line or do a scribble and write their word all around it and all within it. So I've done that here for rough, and then I would write it again around the corner and keep going till it snakes all the way around. Then we've got the standard look, cover, write, check. So look at your word, cover it up, write it down, and then compare those two spellings, and hopefully you've got them correct. You could write the letter string, so the OUGH, in a different colour to the beginning part of your sentence. So for although, I've written that out there, but the OUGH is in a different colour. You could write your letter string in capital letters, or if there's another tricky part in the word, you could write that in capital letters instead. And then we've got our word pyramid at the bottom. So you start building up your word by starting with one letter at the top, then the first and second letter, then the first, second, the third letter, until you get your full word at the bottom of your pyramid. Okay, so pause the video now. I would really like you to give yourself 5 minutes on this. It's very important we practice our spellings. So give yourself 5 minutes, off you go. Okay, hopefully you've had a good practice of those words now. And today we are going to be doing two things. So we're going to have a look at writing an introduction, and we're going to have a look at writing a conclusion for our reports. So first of all, we are going to look at our introduction. Now, the introductions have a very clear purpose, and the purpose is, what's the point of having them? So that means, the purpose of our introduction are these things. This is the point of having an introduction, okay? It tells your reader what the text is going to be about. It gives some basic and very general facts. We're not going into loads of detail in our introduction. We will do that later on, but it is giving you some basic general facts. And also, it gets your reader interested in your topic. Okay, so they might be flicking through an information text and they might come across a couple of different things. If they read the introduction, if it takes their fancy, then they're going to carry on reading, aren't they? So we need to get that reader interested in our topic. So here is an example of an introduction for a non-chron on the Olympic Games. So I've got my heading at the top, and then it's divided up into these three sections. So at the beginning, I've got sort of a general statement about what the Olympic Games is, okay? Then my next sentence or couple of sentences is some facts and figures that I have gathered about the Olympics. Now, you might have some completely different facts and figures that you might want to include, and that is absolutely fine. If you don't, you can use mine. And then the final line is something that's going to get your reader interested. How are you going to hook them in? It might be that you use a rhetorical question, actually. I haven't done here, but you could do that. So I'm going to read it out and make sure you are listening carefully and looking carefully as I do. The Olympic Games are one of the most popular events in the world. However, many people do not realise how far this ancient tradition traces back. Very general statement there. The Olympics started as a religious festival over 2,700 years ago in the southwestern city of Olympia. Every 4 years, around 50,000 Greeks would travel to compete against each other in a range of sporting events. This text will explore many more amazing facts about the Greek Olympic Games, so get ready to head back in time. You are directly addressing your reader here. You want them to be drawn in. You want them to be interested in what you are writing. So now it is your turn, okay? Have you gathered any general facts, any interesting facts? If you haven't, you could do a little bit of research first, or you can just use mine. Use the ones that are on the example, okay? How are you going to get your reader interested at the end? I've said get ready to head back in time. Could you think of a different statement that's going to grab your reader in? So pause the video now. Give yourself about 6 or 7 minutes to write a really decent paragraph for your introduction for the Olympic Games. Off you go. Okay, so hopefully you've got a decent introduction there, including those things, a general statement. We're not going into too much detail, a couple of facts, and then getting your reader interested. Okay, our final task is writing a conclusion. So our texts are going to end with a short conclusion. Now, conclusions are usually really short because they're just summing up everything that you've read already. You don't need to repeat what you've already said, but it just sums up something about your text, okay? And here are some ways that you could end yours. So the first example is referring to the legacy of the Olympic Games. I mean, we're still doing them now, aren't we? So that example refers to that. So I'm going to give that one a read and make sure you are looking and listening. The ancient Greeks have influenced many parts of our society today through philosophy, politics, art, and theatre. However, it seems that their most triumphant legacy was that of the Olympic Games. And then that would be the end, okay? So you're talking about all the other great things that the Greeks did, but that perhaps this was their best thing, the best thing that they brought forward for us, okay? Our second option of how you could end your text is a bit more conversational with your reader. So it's the, if you liked this part of the text, read on more about this, okay? So I'm just going to have a read, have a little listen and see how it's different to the other conclusion. If you thought some of the facts about the Greek Olympics were astonishing, you won't believe what other fascinating events took place in ancient Greece. Carry on reading to discover all about the festival of Dionysia in Athens. So a very different ending there. It's saying, if you like this, you might like this next section in our book. Okay, you obviously don't have to have written that next section, but it's good to keep your reader interested. You're offering them another thing that they could read if they were curious about the Olympics. Okay, so pause the video, have a really good go at writing your conclusion. Are you going to go for this sort of legacy angle, or are you going to go for the, if you like this, you'll love this example? Have a go. Send those in to us. We can't wait to read them. Thank you very much.